What's good, everyone? So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how Andrew Tate has built a cult-like following and has helped him make millions of dollars every single month. And this is going to be a video on how you can implement such teachings and build your own cult-like following. Whether you're a coach, a consultant, B2B business owner, you can apply the same things and you can use it to help build one hell of a brand for the long run and get inbound leads coming like clockwork. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at @TheMattJacob to see more behind the scenes content. And if you are serious about growing your business and getting more leads in your calendar and packing out your calendar with sales calls every single month, book a call down below in the link in the description. Okay, let's get into this. So I've started recording, and pretty much if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, I suggest doing your own research. In short, he's a 4-time world champion kickboxer, entrepreneur. Him and he's got a brother as well. His name's Tristan, and his dad was a chess grandmaster, Andrew Tate. And he sells a service, a product/service, which I'm going to go into later, and how this all ties back to making him more money and then how you can implement it. So all successful brands, right, they implement these 3 things. They have an attractive character, a future that they're striving towards, slash a mission, and a mechanism/vehicle. A mechanism/vehicle, the way they're going to get there. And with Andrew Tate, it's no different. If you watch my How to Build a Personal Brand from Scratch 2-part series, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So go watch that if you haven't yet. In short, what you need is the attractive characters. That's going to be you, your personality online. And what most people will say here is to just don't overcomplicate it. Just be yourself, be transparent. And while that is good advice, I'm not saying that's bad advice, but you're gonna improve and you're gonna have way more horsepower behind your brand if you include these other things. Okay, it's cool to be yourself. It's cool to be transparent, and yes, I encourage that. But just watch this. Just bear with me, okay? So 6 things you need to make an attractive character, and I don't know why it's going like this. Okay, it's gone now. Nice. Backstory, parables, character flaws. Backstory, parables, character flaws. Polarity, us versus them. And there was one more. Oh yeah, before and after. So let's break this down. Let's do a case study on this man. So backstory: he used to be dirt poor, grew up in the streets of Luton, poor, grew up in Luton with his brother. And if you don't know about Luton, Luton is a place in England, and it is very, very impoverished, and it's one of the worst places to live, in my opinion, in England. Okay, so grew up there with his brother. He used to live in America. He moved around a lot. He used to live in America with his dad, who was the chess grandmaster, Andrew Tate. And pretty much grew up dirt poor, and he just worked his way up. He got into fighting. He got into kickboxing, got really, really good at it, became a kickboxer, and started seeing success in that, but it wasn't paying much. So he had to venture out into other business ventures, and I try not to make it too long, but one thing led to another. Became a kickboxer, got into business, learned how to make money, while learning how to fight as well. And here he is today. He's now living in Romania with his brother, and he's running multiple businesses. And it's a rags to riches story, basically. Yeah, I like that. Backstory. So for you, if you want to think of your own backstory, it doesn't have to be cool, honestly. It doesn't have to be cool. It just has to be honest. You just have to be completely honest about where you came from and what your story is. And if you can't think about it, if you can't think of what to write about it, I'd devote a couple minutes just making a short summary on your story. Okay? Backstory. Parables. Now, how parables are different to backstories, you want to imagine like the backstory is the whole movie, and then parables are little important scenes, okay? So in this case, these parables are like little important scenes, but then they have a deeper meaning behind them, or a lesson you can learn. It's like in religion, they talk about parables all the time. So in this case, he's got a lot of parables, and what he puts on these parables, he puts them on a channel called Tate Speech, and it's like these little lessons in life that he's learned along the way. So I don't know if any can come to my head. Okay, for example, you want to look up the chess one, where, because obviously, since if your dad is a grandmaster, it's going to rub off on you, right? You're going to start learning how to play chess and get really good at it. So he talks about how learning chess had an impact on his life. He's got a lot of stories and parables about how he's basically nearly gotten killed multiple times, and how he's gotten out of that situation. And he's very enthusiastic, let's say, character, and I'm sure he does it for marketing. So that's why a lot of people like him, a lot of people hate him. But to be honest, in my opinion, I think he does it for marketing. He's probably not like that in real life, and there's nothing wrong with either way. So parables, how learning how to play chess had an impact on his life. And there's a lot of different stories, like narrowly escaping death, how he used to work in a fishmonger, etc. So there's a lot of parables, and then if you look back on your own life, you can probably think of some parables, or some short, or some significant events or non-significant events in your life, but you still learn a lesson from it, and then you can share that with your audience. Okay, you can have the same effect. Again, doesn't have to be cool, just has to be honest. 3, character flaws. So as much as people when you find this guy, he paints himself to be like omnipotent, like an absolute god, okay? And that's why, again, people love him and people hate him. There's no in between. But to be fair, I think the character flaws, right? The beauty of having character flaws and showing them is it makes you more relatable and more human. So I guess a character flaw is that I don't know, he'll have to say that himself, but he seems, what's the word? To certain people, he seems tone deaf, he seems insensitive, he seems like, just like a bad person. So I don't know. But if you watch his vlogs, okay, this came to mind now. So if you watch his vlogs, it's called Tate Confidential, where he just vlogs. You get a more intimate look on his actual personality and how he acts. Like he's just like the rest of us. He makes jokes, he's funny, he does normal person stuff as well, you know. Yeah. So if you can implement some character flaws into your brand, then it's gonna make it extremely, extremely powerful and potent, because people can then relate to you now. And I'd say the character flaw as well here links back to his past. Like he used to be just like the rest of us, if not worse off. Again, grew up in Luton, and Luton, if you haven't been there, it's one hell of a place. So there we go. Number 4, polarity. So pretty self-explanatory. You either love him or you hate him, right? You either love him or hate him. And this is what I see a lot of brands, like personal brands, people in entrepreneurship. They have all this stuff. They share their story, they share their rags to riches, how they become successful, what their failures are, but the one thing that they're afraid to do is to offend people, because that may, slow business down. It might turn off potential clients. Okay, so people are scared of being having polarity about themselves and just being either loved or hate. So I think that's where people need to be more bold. Okay, and if you do this, it's going to help you a lot. So be more cause more polarity, just be loved more and be hated more. Okay, and the source of his polarity is his views. And if you go on TikTok, if you go on social media, it's not going to take long to realize what he believes in and what his views are. Okay, it's and a lot of it's actually quite useful. Maybe you won't agree with everything, but a lot of it's actually pretty useful. So polarity, it goes against the grain, basically. It goes against the grain of society, and then you take the us versus them. So it's kind of similar to polarity, except you group yourself, you put yourself in a group. Yeah, so humans have a natural inclination to have an enemy, to fight against someone else. So this us versus them part is extremely powerful. Group yourself versus another group. So for example, being proactive and learning how to make money and become a successful man in your life, versus not being proactive, being lazy, stupid, or arrogant, and not doing anything to fix it. So that's kind of a group right there. And like in politics, there's left versus right, but you get the picture. Before and after, and pretty self-explanatory. It's like the backstory, right? You just say who you were before. So before, poor, grew up in Luton. Kickboxer, aspiring kickboxer. He's retired now, but poor, grew up in Luton, aspiring kickboxer. And then after versus after. Yeah, multi-millionaire. Owns like 26 cars, he said. Recently bought a Bugatti. Yeah, you get the picture. So before, after. So that's the attractive character. Now let's go to future they are striving towards slash the mission. This is basically your cause. And if you don't make it known what your cause is, then people won't have anything to strive towards, and then that's where your brand falls apart. Okay. Future they are striving towards. So I guess what it is, based on everything I watched, is he wants to help people break free from the matrix. And what the matrix is life. Life is a matrix. People are stuck in it, and they are being brainwashed. So his ultimate goal is to help break people out of enslavement, out of the matrix, as much as possible. Enlightenment, okay? Your mission might be different, it might not be like this, and that's okay. Again, make it honest, make it true to yourself. Now people who strive to break out of the matrix will resonate with this guy and then want to help him in this pursuit as well, want to join him, take part in this. Okay, so you need a future you're striving towards slash a mission. Okay, and then the last thing is the mechanism slash the vehicle. Now what this is how are you going to get them there? How are you going to get people from where they are now to where they want to get to that ultimate mission, that ultimate goal? And in his case, he has two services, I don't know, info products, let's say. He has something called Hustlers University, which is a more low ticket one, and then he's got something called the War Room, which is like a mastermind. Okay, and I'm gonna link this back to you coaches and consultants in the end. Okay, so bear with me. Hustlers University, low ticket, and he's got the War Room. So these are his mechanisms, his vehicles, as to how to get people from A to B, which is breaking free of the matrix. In short, Hustlers University, and I'm not affiliated by any of these things, but just to describe to you what it is, it's what, like $47 a month. You get surrounded in a mastermind. That's different from the war room, but Hustlers University will show you a ton of, he calls wealth creation methods, modern wealth creation methods, how to become wealthy. He has professors inside the Hustlers University which will help you as well, and the goal of this is to make you rich and break free from the matrix. And then once you can essentially go for Hustlers University and then the war room, which is a high ticket mastermind, and he holds these like masterminds around the world. I don't know how many, but a few times a year, and you basically get surrounded by other like-minded men in the war room. And so that's the mechanism. Now let's link this back to you as a coach or a consultant, because you probably walked into this video thinking, who the hell is this guy and how does this relate to me? Although this video sounds interesting, so I'm going to click on it. Okay, how this is going to relate to you as a coach, consultant, B2B owner. You need an attractive character. You need to fill in, you need to have a backstory. You need to know your parables. What did you learn throughout life that could make really good lessons for your audience and share it with them? What are some of your character flaws? You know, where do you come short? Because you don't want to be someone who looks absolutely perfect. Okay, it's not relatable. It's not going to get you as much business, which sounds counterintuitive, but it actually brings you less business because people can't relate with you and people aren't sold. Character flaws. Polarity. You need to be able to ruffle some feathers, you know, with your views, whatever you believe in. Just be completely honest, and whoever doesn't like it can go away, and whoever likes it, you'll bring them closer, because again, polarity causes people to either love you or hate you. Us versus them is kind of similar, where you put yourself in a group and then you have a common enemy, like another group that you're fighting against. And then the before and after, it's kind of like backstory. Basically, you just put it in your marketing, who you were before and who you are after, and obviously you're gonna mention the mechanism behind that, and then you're gonna use the whole point of the before and after is to sell the mechanism. Okay, so let's say I like to use this example of being a fitness coach. So before, skinny, underweight, and then after, jacked, ripped, super confident. What was the mechanism? Whatever you were selling. So fitness or holistic health or yoga, whatever you're selling, okay, as a coach, consultant. You need to have a future you're striving towards, and this is one I'm trying to build on as well. I'm trying to think of what the mission is and how I can portray that to my audience. So what is the ultimate goal at the end of the day? And you want to make that clear in your marketing. And then the last thing is the mechanism in the vehicle. So I'd highly advise to just have one offer. Yeah, one offer, one outcome, one result. I wouldn't have two unless you've absolutely scaled one of the offers to the moon, and then you think you're ready to move on to another offer, and it's directly correlated. They directly feed into each other. Okay, so I just have one mechanism, one vehicle, and then obviously that's going to be whatever you do. So one-to-one coaching, group coaching, mastermind, whatever it is. Okay, so that is essentially how you build a cult-like following like Andrew Tate. It's not that hard. It's honestly not that hard, and anyone can do this. Maybe some final words. Some final words is to just be completely, because not everyone has a life like this guy. Okay, maybe soon, but if you're not where he is at right now, and you feel and for some reason you feel ashamed about it, don't be ashamed. Just be completely honest about where you are. Hell, you might even just be documenting your journey of building an agency or your coaching business from scratch. That's fine. Don't pretend. Don't overthink it. Like, I'd even argue this might be overthinking it. This might be making it overcomplicated. But just don't overthink it. Okay. Make yourself known. Put yourself out there online and go out of your comfort zone. Okay. And then the last thing, which is quite underrated, is lean towards video content. And the reason I say this is because video content is the best content where people can relate to you. They can see exactly who you are in person, and it's just going to help bring a lot of value towards them and help them like see you as a more relatable person. So what I mean by that is, compared to with YouTube, for example, I'm doing a 30-day sprint. I'm coming towards the end of it now. So for 30 days I was posting like a video a day, except on weekends, right? And the reason I did this because I knew the power of video content. You know what I found in common with people with cult followings, the market leaders, is they have video content. Why? Because it's long form, it's a trust builder, and the more you consume someone's content, the more you're gonna trust them and more likely you're gonna buy. Second thing, it is the most accurate, is the closest thing to me being in front of you. Okay, compared to if I just wrote, like I did copywriting or was tweeting, that doesn't compare. And while it is good, it doesn't compare to video content, because this is exactly, you see my face, right? You see my body language, my tonality. And yeah, so even if you're an introvert, I just suggest you try video content. And this man, Andrew Tate, he's got a ton of video content out there, hours and hours of it. So no wonder why he's built such a successful brand. Okay, you know him like your uncle now at this point, especially on TikTok. And I don't watch TikTok, but I've just heard from people that he's just everywhere. So that's going to be the end of the video. How to build a cult-like following like Andrew Tate. And if you're a coach or consultant, I hope you found this useful. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.